Okay, hi everybody. We have a Ford Explorer 2015 Sport Edition Turbo that has a error code P0151, and we're going to be changing out the upstream oxygen sensor on the driver's side. And we've got the car already raised up on ramps. The parking brake is on, and there are some blocks behind the back wheel. We have a couple parts. We've got a new oxygen sensor. We have some anti-seize. It's going to go on the threads of the new oxygen sensor as it goes in. We've got a socket that's meant for removing the oxygen sensor. And this is what the car looks like with the engine cover on it. The engine cover can be pretty easily removed by just pulling up on parts. So pull it up on all sides here. There we go. And there you go. And there's the engine. 3.5 liter EcoBoost turbo engine. Bank 2 is in the front, towards the front of the car, because the engine is rotated 90 degrees with the belts on this side, the passenger side. And cylinders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that would mean that bank 2 is actually this side, and you can actually see the connection. I've already disconnected it, but you can see the connection for the O2 sensor for the upstream O2 sensor in front of the catalytic converter. So here is the other side of the O2 connection, the O2 sensor connection. So you can see if I can zoom in on that. You can sort of see what that connection looks like. I've got you can sort of see where it connects in. There's a retaining clip right here that I've already cleared the wire from as well. And I've already come to the conclusion that the best way to get to this, to take it out, is from underneath the car. So I'm gonna disconnect the battery. Although the car is cool and I don't think the fan would ever turn on while I'm futzing around down there, it is the safest thing to do, is to disconnect the negative side of the battery. To remove the oxygen sensor, you need a couple things. One is a wrench. Here I've got a torque wrench. It's dialed into 34 foot-pounds. That's primarily when I put the new O2 sensor in. I'm going to put it to that tension, but you also need a socket that's specialized. You can see the slot here. That's where the wire goes, or you can place it over the wire and then bring the socket on top of the O2 sensor. Okay, so this is the view from underneath of that same sensor, just so you get a sense of where things are. Oil filter is right here. There's your catalytic converter. And I'll just sort of swing along here. So guess what that is? So that's the downstream sensor for the same bank. And then I'll assume that there's one farther back. But here's the overall view of the undercarriage of the car. All right, and here's an example of the socket being put on top of O2 sensor. That was about 5 to 10 minutes of work to take out the oxygen sensor. The ratchet was hitting up against the oil filter as well as something else on the undercarriage. So it had to be done piece by piece, obviously counterclockwise rotation, but at various points I'd have to disconnect the wrench, turn the ratcheting component, line it back up with the socket, loosen slightly, rinse and repeat. So yeah, that's how it got out. It took a bit there. All right, you can see why I was having some trouble. You see how I've damaged it? I was coming in at an angle. Whew. Well, I'm thankful that it came out. You can sort of see why this sensor is not working. It is it's toast. It's really dark. That may be indicative of some other issue. I hope not. We're gonna get our replacement part. All right. It's got the protector on the top. Don't want to damage the O2 sensor. I'm gonna get the anti-seize. It's somewhere in the box, and I will put it on the threads before I put in the O2 sensor. All right, I think this is sufficient. Put little dabs of it around the whole thing. All right, now it's on to installation. All right, the new one's installed, hand tightened, and I'm gonna connect the electrical now from the top side before I tighten down on this. Just want to get the wires out of the way. As you can see, it's going through the wiring harness there, that metal harness right in the middle, and then I've got it connected up. Now what you'll notice, you can't really see it too easily, but there are a couple posts here. So we're going to hook it up right into there. Alright, this is what it looks like when it's done right. There it is, and then you can see it's mounted in that post I was showing earlier. And that will keep the wiring from flying into the fan or whatever else. Okay? So again, top view. There, get you a full blown. So there's the engine. Top view. Sort of see bank 2 sensor 1. Wiring through the harness, through the metal clip, sorry. And then gets connected here. So now the last thing I need to do is to tighten it to 34 foot-pounds. That'll be the last step. Alright. That's it. Oh, all right. All right, we've got the O2 sensor in there at the proper torquage and with the anti-seize on the threads. The wiring is in the metal clip and connected to the computer via the wiring. That is the end of the procedure. So we took a drive around the neighborhood and there was no check engine light. So I am very happy, and so is the car. And I hope that you have a best of luck as you are doing your own repair.